is agreed by a majority of the members present. I declare the motion passed. Members' motion with no legislative effect. Mr. Ambrose Lam will move a motion on enhancing Hong Kong's status as an international maritime services center. 3 members will move amendments to the motion. This council will proceed to a joint debate on the motion and the amendments. Later, I will first call upon Mr. Ambrose Lam to speak and move the motion. Then I will call upon Mr. Chen Pui-leung, Dr. Simon Lee, and Mr. Yim Kong to speak in sequence. But they may not move the amendments at this stage. The joint debate now begins. Members who wish to speak, please press the request to speak button. I now call upon Mr. Ambrose Lam to speak and move the motion. President, I move that the motion as printed on the agenda be passed. President, today I published an article on Meng Pao. The article speaks about the development of International Maritime Center in Hong Kong. It is an obligation as well as an opportunity for Hong Kong. You may refer to the Meng Pao article yourself. Here I will touch on the major points of the article because I want to make good use of the time. Our fate is closely linked to that of our country. We always say that we have the one country, two system principle, and we have the support of our motherland, and that we are closely connected to the world. This is not just a slogan. We have to implement it. Our country's policy reflects the need of our country. We have to understand our country's needs and policies in order to have the support of our motherland, and that we can convert our advantages under one country, two systems into impetus. We have the obligation and responsibility to explain to the public about these policies and the importance of them, and we have to monitor the government in implementing these policies to increase the impetus for development. Last July, Mr. Yim Kong, as well as in last December, Ms. Carmen Khan moved a relevant motion. This is the 3rd motion about Maritime Services Center. This time I want to focus more on maritime services. In December, the government responded to Mr. Yim Kong's motion and question about maritime services, but only touched on taxation as well as international conferences. I found that there are some companies who aren't aware of the tax concessions rolled out by the government. This shows a lack of publicity. In the 3rd plenum of the 20th Central Committee, it says that we have to promote maritime arbitration and law, and that we have to take part actively in international rules. Currently, we abide by the common law system, and Hong Kong is the only place in our country that abides by the common law system, and we have the freest system around the world. So we are well positioned to complete the mission given by the country. We're not only looking at the containers throughput, we should look at the scale and influence of the maritime services. In London, it is one of the most important maritime services center in the world because it monopolizes the international maritime and shipping market. According to the relevant insurance conventions, it says that we have to hold arbitration in London. Regardless of the publicity made by the government, international law firms, they don't hold their businesses here. It is only if we have our own provisions that maritime arbitration can be developed here so that we can meet the target set in the 3rd plenum. We have to safeguard the financial security of our country. Iran and Russia are some examples we can look at. If there are any problems with maritime services, cargoes cannot be shipped or exported. This will affect international trade as well as national security. Like President Xi Jinping said in Macau recently, we have to safeguard national security, and therefore we have to speed up the development of maritime services. In the 2024 policy address, Chief Executive said we have to develop ourselves into a maritime center. However, there's a lack of direction. Let me give you some statistics. Last year, there were at least 1,000 new shipping orders. Each new vessel cost about $90 million, and we need $700 billion. and this amounts to 4 times of the funds raised by IPO in 2024. And we have to have green bunkering system and to meet the carbon reduction target. In relation to maritime insurance, in order to meet the target set at the third plenum, we have to make good use of the free flow of capital to facilitate insurance companies to make compensations. Also, with policies rolled out by the SAR government, it is expected that more shipping companies will set offices in Hong Kong, and this will bring in billions of dollars of capital to Hong Kong. I haven't touched on maritime leasing or ship leasing and the economic activities brought about. Do we see a bright future of maritime services center? INT may take years to realize results. However, for shipping services, we can see results very soon. The SAR government should put in more resources and energy into maritime services. Even with new businesses, there aren't a lot of people who are in the sector in Hong Kong. Take maritime law and arbitration, you have to practice for 7 years in order to become independent. Law firms can train up talents. However, the reality is that there aren't many law firms that can nurture talents in maritime law. And with no one that can take businesses, we cannot bring in clients. We should not only rely on the Hong Kong Maritime and Development Board. We have to rely on cross-departmental efforts in order to relax the relevant barriers. The SAR government should roll out tax concessions to lure financial companies as well as shipping companies to come to Hong Kong and encourage them to use our mediation and arbitration services. We should also bring in talent and enrich the talent pool. These talents can make about $1 million a year. We should roll out loans without interest for them to enhance our competitiveness. Developing a shipping center in Hong Kong can enhance our competitiveness, and it is necessary. It is a reflection of impetus we see under the one country, two systems principle, and this can also help us become an important part of our country. I so submit. Thank you, Deputy Secretary.
And I propose the question to you that Honorable Lam San-keung's motion be passed. Mr. Pui-leung. Thank you, Madam Deputy. The country expressly said that there is support for Hong Kong to develop high value-added maritime services. In 2023, the government promulgated the Action Plan on Maritime and Port Development Strategy. In the 24 policy address, the government proposes that there should be initiatives to attract high-quality maritime services companies to come to Hong Kong, and there should be further training of talents. The Maritime and Port Board will be upgraded to Maritime and Port Development Board in charge of formulating long-term strategies of development in this area. I agree with the content of the policy address. The Maritime and Aviation Training Fund, which has been established for 10 years, the content of that should be enriched to cover examinations. Relating to maritime insurance, the accredited courses and the list of examination amount to very few. I know that there is an agreement signed with T&I Club to support practitioners to sit the examinations and the courses. I think that there should be enhanced cooperation with other international organizations. Say, for example, the IUMI to enhance training. I think that the Hong Kong government should be more active to reach out to get insurers and maritime companies to come to Hong Kong to set up regional branches or headquarters. Subsidies should be given to the sector to invite experts on maritime insurance to come to Hong Kong to set up companies, then they can provide mentorship programs. They organize talks, seminars, and exchange views to train our talent. There should be an accreditation scheme put in place. Those young practitioners who have potential with an outstanding performance should receive subsidy to go overseas to further their studies. I do believe that by providing diversified and competitive training modules, as well as the award programs, these initiatives will attract youngsters to join. As at the end of 2024, June, 80 maritime insurers have come to Hong Kong. 30 of them are funded by foreign companies. I think the government should actively ask sizable and renowned maritime insurers to come to Hong Kong to set up regional headquarters. We need to enrich the depth and breadth of the sector. We do need to expand the reinsurance sector to enhance and to help companies to enhance their capability to take on reinsurance. This will be conducive to Hong Kong. With the intensifying geopolitical situation and uncertainties in maritime businesses, there are also, in addition, sanctions. We need to enhance Hong Kong's participation in the International Group of Protection and Indemnity. There should be a pool of insurance to cover conflicts and wars. We don't need to rely on overseas insurers. The different segments of the sector should work together. This will be conducive to the development of maritime insurance and shipping in South China. We can expand our market. I so submit in support of Mr. Ambrose Lam's original motion and other amendments. I ask members to support my amendment as well. Mr. Hoey Lee. I thank Mr. Lam for moving the original motion. During the recess last year, he went to London to conduct a number of surveys. I went with him and visited a number of renowned law firms engaged in this area. The first point of my amendment is to deepen the definition of International Maritime Center. This is one of the 8 centers. However, when it comes to supply and cost, we should not just focus on the throughput of our cargo terminal. We need to look for other growth areas. We need to become an international maritime services center. The other 2 amendments, that is professional insurance service by Mr. Pui-leung, as well as supply chain management, ship repair, and fuel bunkering services in Mr. Yim's amendment, they should all be considered. Well, not many people use the London cargo terminal because of cost and other reasons. But it does not undermine the status of London being used as shipping services. Well, these areas include insurance, leasing, arbitration, and legal services. We need to deepen the definition of International Maritime Center. A long-term plan should be put in place. This is very important to the practitioners and companies in the sector. My second point is a diversified hub by establishing a maritime services industry cluster. We serve the region. We cover transshipment as well. We need to cover Belt and Road countries as well. When it comes to supply chain, we do not look at just maritime shipping. We have to bring together air shipment as well. We need to build a high value-added maritime services industry cluster. We are an international financial center. We have a very sound legal system. When it comes to different services, including sale of vessels, maritime arbitration, registration, financing, management, insurance, are all included. We should consider cooperating with other GBA cities. We need to enhance our services. We have rich experience built over decades. We can now turn to training of practitioners in maritime services. We can help cities in the cluster to move upward. I have some suggestions. First, strengthen port management, maritime and coordinated maritime policies. Our throughput is dropping. There is keen competition coming from other places in the region. We need to have good chain management for further development. We need to build ourselves into a one-stop service provision center. We also need to enlarge our market and build the shipment cluster. We need to address the problem of a shortage in manpower. We need to tap into the potential of e-commerce. We have professional services. We can make use of this. This will help the transformation of the logistics and shipment sector. I so speak in support of the original motion and the amendments. Mr. Yim Kong, thank you. I support Mr. Ambrose Lam's original motion as well as the amendments from Mr. Chen and Dr. Lee. In December 2023, the government promulgated the action plan. So high value added maritime service is the focus. Maritime service is a key area with the participation of Chinese capital companies. We do look forward to it. My focus is on extended and related industries. Say, for example, ship management, repair, and fuel bunkering. We need to have high quality management. This will enhance our core competitiveness. We have a huge pool of talent as well as high quality enterprises. But if we need to maintain our competitiveness, we need to attract more liners to come to Hong Kong. We need to enhance our scale of economies. We also need to enhance the synergy of the transportation of different areas. The fuel bunkering service is important to building Hong Kong into a green port. In November, the government promulgated the action plan to build Hong Kong into on green maritime fuel bunkering. Well, there will be planning for bunkering berths. Different areas in the region will work together. Shenzhen Port has advantage in cost. They can provide bunkering service using new energy for different vessels. The government said that the market will be kept open there will be flexibility, and there will also be a level playing field. Provisional permits will be provided to green maritime fuel bunkering companies. But if we enhance our related services such as ship repair, it will be to our good. We used to have practitioners in companies in this regard, but the industry is dying. There is only one medium-sized ship repair base in Hong Kong, but there is an increasing demand. The government should look into enhancing our competitiveness. There are problems of high cost and insufficient land. Support measures should be put in place. The Maritime and Port Board will be upgraded to Maritime and Port Development Board. Studies should be conducted for better planning. Policies should be put in place to enhance Hong Kong's status as an international shipping center. We need to consolidate and enhance our status as an international center. This is a growth engine for us. If we can consolidate our maritime service center, there will be benefits for us as an international financial center as well. I hope that the government will attach importance to the motion. I ask members to support my amendments as well.
Secretary for Transport and Logistics. Deputy President, I'd like to thank Mr. Ambrose Lam for moving the motion and Mr. Pui-leung, Dr. Hoey, Simon Lee, and Mr. Yim Kong for their amendments. It gives us an opportunity to exchange views and suggestions on the development of our maritime services industry. I will first of all focus on the overall situation of our local maritime services industry, and then I will respond to the amendments and other views in my concluding remarks. Hong Kong ranks 4th globally in the International Shipping Center Development Index. This reflects our comprehensive strengths in port conditions, professional maritime services, and overall business environment. Maritime services are the high value-added part of the maritime business, with an economic contribution that has gone up by nearly 40% over the last 3 years. It is a key driver of growth. Under the principle of one country, two systems, Hong Kong has the unique advantage of being an internationalized and bilingual common law jurisdiction. Hong Kong has a thriving maritime ecosystem, with over 1,100 port and maritime companies providing comprehensive and high-quality maritime services to global enterprises, including ship services, maritime finance, marine insurance, maritime law, as well as arbitration. In the areas of maritime finance, maritime insurance, and maritime law specifically mentioned in the motion, our services and reputation are recognized globally. In relation to maritime finance, ship finance is one of the main businesses of ship leasing. In Hong Kong, ship leasing businesses are mainly focused on ship financing, with the rest being ship lessors. As such, Hong Kong is a highly popular destination for ship finance, with 8 of the world's top 10 book runners on syndicated marine finance loans having set up offices in Hong Kong. Furthermore, over 70 of the world's top 100 banks operate in Hong Kong, with many playing a significant role in the ship financing market. The mainland ship leasing market is also highly developed. The top 5 mainland ship lessors all have operations in Hong Kong with a view to expanding their businesses. In respect of maritime insurance, 11 of the 12 member associations of the International Group of Protection and Indemnity Clubs, a global maritime insurance organization, provide services in Hong Kong, making us the largest service group outside London. The International Union of Marine Insurance also set up its Asian Regional Center in Hong Kong in 2016. This is the union's first and only branch outside of its German headquarters. In terms of maritime law and dispute resolution, the Baltic and International Maritime Council, BIMCO, listed Hong Kong as one of the 4 designated arbitration venues in the global standard maritime contracts in 2020. This is a recognition of Hong Kong's leading position in maritime arbitration. Additionally, the Hong Kong Shipping Register, which is managed by the Marine Department, has long been renowned for its high-quality services. As of December 2024, Hong Kong registered ships rank 4th globally in terms of total tonnage, with a port destination rate of only 0.81% comparing with the global average of 3.39%. We are among the top 3. It shows our shipping fleet enjoys excellent international reputation for its safety and reliability. I fully agree with Mr. Ambrose Lam's motion. Talent is the backbone of the maritime services industry. We will continue to work with the industry to nurture talent for our high-value added maritime services industry, which is in line with the country's maritime development needs, and to enhance our status as an international maritime center. The government has been providing training subsidies, incentives, and scholarships through the Maritime and Aviation Training Fund, MATF, as well as sponsoring industry organizations to hold promotional activities in order to support the continuous development of our maritime talents. At present, the fund has implemented 30 maritime-related programs benefiting over 19,000 students and maritime practitioners. Furthermore, over 100,000 people have taken part in promotional and publicity activities supported by the fund. Maritime services are highly specialized, and practitioners generally require a long period of training to become industry experts. The government has been maintaining close liaison with the industry to provide support for the different manpower needs of the maritime industry, including encouraging local training institutions to set up partnerships with international or GBA industry organizations and training institutions, promoting Hong Kong as an international knowledge exchange and talent hub, and driving the development of high-value added maritime services. We also regularly review and optimize the implementation details and scope of the fund to attract more young people to join the maritime industry and support its development. To promote the overall development of the maritime industry, the 2024 Policy Address announced that the government would revamp the existing Hong Kong Maritime and Port Board into the Hong Kong Maritime and Port Development Board by mid-2025. We will appoint a non-official member as the chairman, with members mainly from the maritime industry. A dedicated research and promotion team will also be established. There will be more resources to enhance research capabilities, strengthen domestic and international promotion, and ramp up talent training. One of the key tasks of the Hong Kong Maritime and Port Development Board is to drive and strengthen talent development. President, I will listen to members' views before giving my consolidated concluding response. I so submit. Thank you, President.
Mr. Lam San-keung, thank you, Deputy President. I thank Mr. Ambrose Lam for proposing this motion. Maritime is an important part of our economy. In 2021, it accounts for 4.1% of the GDP. We have been developing ship financing as well as maritime law. This helps inject impetus to the industry. From a macro perspective, we are complementing the advantages of the GBA, and it helps enhance the overall competitiveness of the port cluster in the GBA. To develop high value-added maritime services, we need to nurture talent. The government has to grasp the demand for manpower in order to come up with the direction as well as target. However, so far we haven't seen any manpower projection in this regard. The latest manpower projection of the SAR government shows that by 2028, International Maritime Center related nurture talent, we need about 10,000 to 15,000 people. Currently, under the Hong Kong Maritime and Port Development Board, there is a group that looks at the manpower. The government should make use of this group to come up with more detailed manpower projections. For example, how many maritime law lawyers we need, so on. Based on the results, we can allow relevant stakeholders, including scholars, we can come up with policies to nurture talents. Once we've got the idea of how much manpower we need, we can move on to think about how to trawl for such talent. Many young people may think of sailing when it comes to shipping center. In the past, there was the impression that people who cannot achieve good academic results, they would join the maritime center. For example, we need arbitrators, we also need analysts in the maritime sector. The government should, together with the industry, step up publicity and allow parents as well as students to have a better understanding of the industry. For example, they should learn about the prospects of joining the industry so that more people who wish to join the industry can be prepared. In relation to post-secondary education, currently courses involving high value-added maritime services, there are only a few. Only 2 institutions offer bachelor degree programs with about 50 places. Compared to other places such as London, there are many universities in London that offer bachelor degree programs in relation to maritime services covering maritime law as well as ship management. The SAR government can make an estimate of how many talents it needs. It can give more support to University of Applied Sciences to encourage them to create courses in this regard. Also, there is the International Shipping Academy as colleges in the mainland. We should come up with relevant programs and courses too. The SAR government can explore facilitating our collaboration and exchanges with institutions in the mainland. Through consolidation and integration of resources, we should train up more talents. I so submit. I speak in support of the motion. Reverend Peter Kuhn, Deputy President, in the past, Hong Kong was once the busiest shipping centers. However, in the previous decade or so, we see many other ports in neighboring places, and the container throughput has continued to decline. Many shipping alliances, they are consolidating their shipping routes and reduce their port calls in Hong Kong. They even remove Hong Kong from their list of ports, and that's why Hong Kong is facing a great challenges. And this situation is worrying. Our status as an international shipping center is dwindling. This is due to various reasons. Externally, there has been China and US competition. There is also consolidation of trade chain. And there has been also vicious competitions. Internally, fees for handling container ports have been increasing. We have been trying to improve and develop smart ports as well as port community system. Also, people in the industry have been aging, and we lack skilled labor in the sector. If we remain complacent, we won't be able to cope with the challenges ahead. The SAR government, apart from facing up the problems, it also has to consider the long-term development of the maritime industry. Such industry covers a wide range of areas, from traditional pier and port business to ship registration, as well as high value-added services. These are all part of the chains of maritime trade. Also, with internationalization, comprehensive professional services, as well as opening up of capital. With these advantages, I believe the development of maritime industry in Hong Kong should focus on high value-added services so that we can consolidate our status as an international shipping center. In recent years, there has been vibrant development of the maritime sector. The relevant ship companies has increased from the number of 900 to 1,100 in Hong Kong, of which about 100 ship management companies as well as 400 law firm partners are in the relevant business. If you simply look at the number of talents we have, they account for an important part of our shipping industry. Currently, the Baltic and International Maritime Council has listed Hong Kong as one of the 4 designated places for arbitration. We have the advantages that are unparalleled to other ports. We also have an important status in the world. In 2019, Hong Kong, together with the court in the mainland, has reached an agreement. The agreement allows Hong Kong to be an arbitration place or destination, and it allows parties to these arbitrations to preserve evidence as well as asset. And Hong Kong is the only place in the country to enjoy such advantages. Be it in London or Singapore, they cannot be compared to us in this regard. In addition, Hong Kong is an famous international financing center in Asia. According to statistics from last year, ship financing amounts to about 88.3 billion Hong Kong dollars. Also, Hong Kong can provide diversified financing channels. For example, hedge funds they can help consolidate the financing channels. We hope that the SAR government, as it gives support to the maritime sector, it can explore converting Hong Kong into an international shipping center. I so submit I speak in support of the motion as well as the amendment. Mr. Gary Chen. Thank you, Deputy President. I thank Mr. Ambrose Lam for raising this motion so that we can discuss together how Hong Kong can increase its status as an international maritime services center. Many members have their views on how we can develop our ship financing, maritime arbitration, and high value-added services, and so on. There is one thing I think we need to do, and it is crucial. It is about how we can develop the Greenfield Bunkering Center in Hong Kong. Many places around the world, they move towards the direction of a zero carbon emission. If you do not use these green fields designated, you cannot enter the port in some places. So who uses green maritime fuel, who can dominate the sector, and they can thus become the international shipping center. If we can develop ourselves into a green maritime fuel bunkering center, we can offer green fuel at a stable price. And large-scale companies take this as an important consideration when they design their routes. If we can provide green maritime fuel supply services, we can attract more vessels and cargo ships to use the ports in Hong Kong. This definitely consolidate our status as an international shipping center. I've talked so much about Green Maritime Fuel Bunkering Center. So where can we get the fuel? We have to rely on our country. Over the past decade, our country has been moving towards green development. So we get new energy from the country. Biodiesel fuel as well as green methanol, they are manufactured in our country. Also, solar power as well as wind power, these clean energy can produce hydrogen, and hydrogen can be converted into green methanol. And this technology is quite well established in our country. For example, Town Gas in Hong Kong, it also has the relevant technology, and it has set up manufacturing bases in Mongolia to produce green fuel that meets the standard of the EU. Regarding strategies and new energy supply, we are well positioned to develop ourselves into a green maritime fuel bunkering center. Under such circumstances, if we do not make use of our advantages to develop green maritime fuel bunkering, we would fall behind other places. Some neighboring countries, they have already started studying how they can develop themselves into a green maritime fuel bunkering center. We do not want to be surpassed by others. Otherwise, the vessels will turn to other places for fuel bunkering, and vessels may no longer pass through Hong Kong. So in this regard, we have to catch up. It seems like we have started late. However, we do have the advantages still. There are different ways to make use of green fuel. For countries that are more advanced in this regard, they may have spent a lot of time on carrying out studies. While we are starting late, we have already studied what kind of green fuel are used by different ship companies. So we already have the advantages. If we catch up now, I believe that we can snatch the status as a green maritime fuel bunkering center. The SAR government has recently promulgated the action plan on green maritime fuel bunkering, and I support some of the directions set out in the action plan. I hope that the SAR government can turn the action plan into real actions to help us cement our status as an international shipping center. I so submit. Thank you.
Professor Chow Man Kong. In early November, Director Mr. Xia Baolong pointed out clearly, without port, Hong Kong would not be Hong Kong. This shows that the Central People's Government attaches a lot of importance to the development of ports in Hong Kong. It also attaches a lot of importance to the development of the shipping industry. Previously, I mentioned that we were stuck in a groove, so we lost out on a lot of opportunities to use technologies in this area. This hindered the development of the industry. This also affected cargo throughput. So Guangzhou, Shenzhen, and other large cities already surpassed us. We have great potential in this area, say ship financing, maritime law, maritime insurance, and so on. In Tsinghua Baltic International Shipping Center Development Index Report 2024, we ranked 4th. Singapore, London, Shanghai are ahead of us. It shows that we still have a lot of room for development. So the Hong Kong government needs to lead the industry in identifying, embracing, and responding to changes. I speak in support of Mr. Ambrose Lam's motion as well as the amendment moved by the other 3 members. The Action Plan on Maritime and Port Development Strategy was announced. We need to groom talents and promote professional services in relation to the maritime industry. First of all, I suggest that the administration should explore together with the Guangdong province to consolidate port resources with synergetic effect and the scale of economies. We need to develop Hong Kong into an international shipping center. We need to inject more impetus in this area. In mainland cities in the GBA, we have great advantages. We have the potential to offer cargo ship services connecting to over 500 destinations all around the world. The 3-runway system has already come into operation. So we have already expanded our capacity in this area. This is helpful in consolidating our position as a transshipment hub. Without freight, we wouldn't be a transshipment hub. So we need to discuss with large companies to discuss the division of labor, say Kuaiting Cargo Terminal or in Nansha. We need to ensure fair distribution of goods among these three places so we won't give rise to negative competition in the area. In addition, we also need to leverage on the emerging market to ramp up publicity efforts. With Latin America, the administration has been conducting trades and business activities. We can continue to discuss the possibility of building Hong Kong into a green port. We need to lead these Latin American regions to enter the local industry, and we can fight for more business opportunities. I have the following suggestions as well. The administration needs to talk to the mainland counterparts. We need to nurture talents, say maritime talents in Hong Kong. Under CEPA, at present, the mutual recognition of qualifications covered accounting, construction, engineering, securities, futures, real estate, and so on. I think the administration should use the positioning of the three centers to discuss it with the mainland market. For shipbrokers, ship agents, and managers, we need to ride on the development of the ports in Guangdong. There is the relevant program in relation to talents. We need to attract non-local students to stay in Hong Kong upon graduation. We need to attract them to join the maritime industry. I suggest we talk to the VTC Vocational Training Council. We need to introduce new programs to overseas and non-local students, say those on the mainland, so we can groom more maritime talents in order to support long-term development of the industry in Hong Kong. Thank you, Deputy President. Mr. Martin Liao. According to a maritime research organization, in 2023, the cargo throughput fell out of the top 10 around the world for the first time. For 7 years in a row, we have seen a decrease in cargo throughput, which fell to 14.34 million TEUs. We need to capitalize on our pricing advantage. Our role as a transshipment hub isn't as competitive as that in other areas. We do need to boost the development of the local industry. In order to consolidate our advantages and boost our position as an international shipping center, we need to build the commodity ecosystem. Metal and other commodities take up a large proportion of the local cargo. However, in relation to the development of commodity ecosystem, we are lagging behind. We account for less than 1% in this area. We do need to develop the commodity ecosystem in order to achieve breakthroughs. We need to attract commodity companies to set up presence in Hong Kong in order to expand the local maritime industry. In 2023, the Action Agenda on Maritime and Port Development Strategy was announced. It covers tax concessions in order to attract companies around the world. There are tax concessions in relation to commodity ecosystems or commodity companies. I hope there will be more of such measures rolled out as soon as possible in order to strengthen our advantage. Our advantage doesn't just lie in prices. It is difficult to compete for low prices with the mainland China. We need to aim at high quality and high value added. We have a comprehensive judicial system, and we are one of the 4 arbitration venues as designated by BIMCO. In a 2021 research report of BIMCO or Baltic, we ranked the third most popular maritime arbitration venues. We have our own advantage in this regard. High quality talents can help us boost our position as an international shipping center. The government and the academia need to work together to groom more talents in the maritime industry. The government can consider organizing joint programs together with the industry in order to groom more maritime talents. We need to have specialized universities like the one in Shanghai. I understand that we have collaboration with these two universities to attract high-caliber maritime law talents in order to contribute to the local industry. I look forward to drawing reference from more universities in order to groom more maritime talents and to make our maritime arbitration services even more competitive. The Hong Kong Legal Talent Training Academy, which was set up last year, may also consider organizing maritime lawyer programs or seminars. The shipping industry in Hong Kong still has a lot of room for improvement or development. If we can leverage on the development potential, the International Shipping Center of Hong Kong will be enhanced further. And it will also serve as a new economic growth point. I speak in support of the motion as well as all amendments. Thank you, Deputy President. Ms. Carmen Khan. Thank you, Deputy President. I thank Mr. Ambrose Lam for this motion and the other members for their amendments. I speak in support of the motion to develop maritime services, not least high value added maritime services. We need to leverage on our unique advantages. This is exactly an example in which we develop the new quality productive forces. I have three suggestions. We need to expedite the transformation of the Hong Kong MPB. In the 2024 policy address, we will upgrade the Hong Kong Maritime and Port Board into the Hong Kong Maritime and Port Development Board, Hong Kong MPDB. I moved the motion on the 4th of December 2024. We need to focus on reform and establish the Hong Kong Maritime and Port Development Board. It is not just the addition of the word development in the name. It should also serve as a high-level advisory organization. We need to expand the business network. As Mr. Ambrose Lam mentioned, wisdom is in the public. We need to discuss and consult community organizations, say the legal sector, insurance sector, and shipping sector. We should also foster collaboration among the Transport and Logistics Bureau and other bureaus. For example, we need to work with the Environment and Ecology Bureau. We should also work with the Hong Kong Customs and Excise Department as well as the CEDB to provide facilitation measures to use resources among different bureaus in an efficient manner. Many members mentioned cargo throughput in Hong Kong. We need to interface with other cities in the GBA. We need to take a more proactive approach to take forward the collaboration among Guangdong and Hong Kong so we can achieve development and build an industry cluster. We can consolidate our position as an international shipping center, and we can also be aligned with other places. In May 2023, we have signed an agreement, and it is an example that we work with the world. I'd like to hear from the administration in this area, shipping, finance, insurance, in these areas to develop high-value added shipping services. It involves not just the shipping center. The financial industry and the insurance industry can also boom as a result. To develop the financial industry, we need to provide services to the physical economy, and the shipping sector is of course involved. The government should promote Hong Kong as our country's international financial center and as a hub of offshore renminbi center. We shouldn't just rely on the Transport and Logistics Bureau. On cross-boundary supply chain, how can Hong Kong leverage on our advantages as an international shipping center, say maritime, insurance, cybersecurity, insurance? As Mr. Pui-leung mentioned, we need to develop Hong Kong into an P&I hub, so we can serve as a hub of protection and indemnity. How can we better leverage on our shipping advantages to help enterprises to better manage the risks? We need to make good use of our advantage of a common law system. We also need to give full play to our internationalization advantage. We need to have business facilitation measures. Say companies can set up headquarters in Hong Kong before they go global. We can streamline the procedures and provide more business facilitation measures in order to benefit different sectors. We need to groom more talents in relation to maritime lawyers, so we can consolidate our position as an Asia-Pacific dispute resolution center. I so submit I speak in support of the motion as well as the 3 amendments of G90 members. Thank you.
Ms. Jenkins-Paul. Thank you, Madam Deputy. In the past few years, Hong Kong has been working on and developing maritime services, including management, insurance, and legal services. In the third plenary resolution, there is mention about enhancing Hong Kong's status as an international maritime and financial center. We need to enhance our capacity as for maritime insurance. We need to be innovative. This is a direction for future development. I thank Mr. Lee for his original motion as well as the amendments from other members. Hong Kong ranks the 4th in International Maritime Center. We have over 1,000 shipping companies. A diversity of high-value under services is provided. Hong Kong is a prime registration destination for vessels. We have 2,500 100-ton and above vessels. We also have about 8,300 vessels in South China. It's a huge fleet. Hong Kong should try to get mainland companies to set up captive insurance companies. For mainland companies coming to Hong Kong to set up captive insurers, it will also attract overseas captive insurance companies to come to Hong Kong. Other enterprises will come to Hong Kong, which will speed up Hong Kong's development. Mainland insurers will also benefit from the enhancement in insurance coverage and capacity. So for mainland and Hong Kong companies, these measures will bring huge benefits. When it comes to maritime arbitration, Hong Kong has a sound legal system. Hong Kong is recognized to be a place with professional legal knowledge and expertise. Hong Kong is very effective when it comes to resolving disputes, maritime disputes. Hong Kong is the only jurisdiction practicing common law among Chinese cities. We are bilingual in Chinese and English. Using common law to resolve disputes is an effective way to resolve disputes. Hong Kong should know its advantage. We should promote ourselves. We need to appeal to the rest of the world that our services need to be used. According to New York Convention, there is a reciprocal arrangement. Hong Kong arbitration awards can be implemented in over 180 parties, including Singapore, Korea, US, Japan. So promoting, well, Hong Kong's legal system is used all over the world. In BIMCO, Hong Kong was listed as one of the 4 seats of arbitration on a par with New York, London. We have a huge pool of talent. We have a recognized ability to resolve arbitration matters. We can help our country in this regard. Hong Kong has shown great potential in insurance and arbitration. The industry should develop towards high-value development. We need to make good use of our internationalness. We need to enhance our status as an international maritime center. We need to be a super connector to help our country. Mr. Pt.1, there are changes with the supply chain. After the pandemic, Hong Kong has been dropping in ranking. Shanghai, Singapore's throughput ranks one of the top 3. The cost is lower. The government put in place supporting measures. These are the reasons. Our throughput is dropping. The government focuses on developing high-value added services. This is the right direction. We have an action plan. Last year in the policy address, there are initiatives to offer tax incentives for ship leasing in terms of brokerage, leasing, financing. There are also concessions. When it comes to vessel management, brokers, there are incentives to attract them to come to Hong Kong. And on top of that, there is the development of a commodity ecosystem. This will create favorable conditions for development of the trade. Hong Kong is similar to London. Competitiveness is dropping. London Port makes use of their advantage as financial and legal services. They provide one-stop service. We have a very sound foundation in the same areas. So these will be our soft power. When it comes to Singapore, Singapore uses their leverage on their active policies of their bureau. There is abundant resources put in place to support the development of the area. We now use commodity trading as an entry point. Well, large commodities account for half of the volume of shipping, and then there are related services. The London Commodity Exchange consider establishing a storage and settlement point in Hong Kong. Mainland enterprises can use Hong Kong to export commodities without going through Singapore. This, in turn, will promote development in terms of finance, shipping, and trade. This will also strengthen commodity trade in Hong Kong. Hong Kong should also make use of advantage in interconnectivity of the different markets. When it comes to vessel investment, there can be Bond Connect, Stock Connect, and recognition of renminbi-denominated products. In addition, there is maritime insurance. We need to attract more insurers to come to Hong Kong. They can provide various services and products to meet different needs. In the long term, we need to train our talent. We also have to strengthen our arbitration service, say by streamlining the process, offering tax concessions for practitioners. We need to put in place harmonization of rules, recognition of standards. Regarding development of green ports, the government has set the direction. There will be more resources devoted to make use of AI, blockchain, There will be investment in the green fuel bunkering, say ammonia, green methanol. There will be also promotion of the use of technology. This will be conducive to our transformation towards low carbon, which in turn will strengthen our status as a green bunkering city. There is also ship financing, brokerage, bunkering, repair, maintenance, vessel management. All these are key areas. We can have complementary development with the GBA. This is our chance to scale new heights. I speak in support of Mr. Lee's original motion and all the other amendments. Mr. Sunny Tang. There is a decision by the third plenary for Hong Kong to consolidate our three centers. We have a very solid foundation when it comes to maritime services. We've always ranked top in the world. When it comes, our tonnage is about 1.28 billion tons. Our throughput is also one of the highest in the world. We have advantage of a common law jurisdiction. Now we have the Maritime and Port Development Board, or we are going to have. We can make use of the chance to enhance our status. We need to make good use of our professional service and our legal services. We need to build ourselves into a maritime arbitration and legal hub. Hong Kong is well connected with the mainland and the rest of the world. We have a huge market from the mainland. We are well connected to Southeast Asia and other areas. When it comes to garment and textile industries, we are well connected with our counterparts in Asia. There is a huge demand. They will make use of our common law jurisdiction to sign contracts and conduct maritime arbitration. I expect the government to be more aggressive. They need to attract enterprises from other places, especially from Belt and Road countries. Attract them to come to sign contracts here and make use of our legal services or bunkering services. This will enhance our status as a prime destination for arbitration. We need to enhance our maritime insurance. I support the government to keep working on attracting quality insurers to come to Hong Kong. There should be diversification in services. We need to enhance our talent training. We need to strengthen Hong Kong's position as a maritime insurance center. Hong Kong should continue to leverage its status as an international financial center by providing a platform for vessel financing. There should be products developed for different companies at different development stages to make use of Hong Kong for financing. Hong Kong will become a more sizable industry cluster. Hong Kong is going to see a smart port system. We can draw reference from the mainland and Singapore. We can continue to make use of big data, Internet of Things, drones, AI. We can enhance the management of ports. We can expedite the efficiency of throughput at terminals. We can reduce cost so that Hong Kong can be one of the most competitive smart ports in the area. Other ports in GBA are developing rapidly. I'm sure that we will seize the opportunity and develop complementarity development with other GBA cities. I so submit in support of the motion.
Dr. Low Wai Kwok, Deputy President. We are in a prime geographical location and we have a free economy. That's why we are one of the most efficient ports in the world. However, given the complex geopolitical situation as well as the rapid development of other ports in the mainland, we are seeing a drop in terms of our container throughput. With our internationalization and network, as well as other advantages, we, in terms of developing high value-added maritime services, we have achieved results. According to 2024 statistics, Hong Kong is one of the 4 major shipping centers in the world. More importantly, we have the unique advantages under the one country, two systems principle. According to the 14th five-year plan, we have to develop the 8 centers, including the International Shipping Center. In the 3rd plenum, the resolution of promoting Chinese modernization has been passed. We have to consolidate our status as an international shipping center. Therefore, I speak in support of this motion. I think we have to complement the needs of our country to develop and nurture talent for high value-added maritime service to further consolidate our status. The current term government, in terms of developing maritime services center, it has been very proactive. In 2023, the action plan was promulgated and a number of directions have been set out, including developing smart port. The vision is to become a leading port of high value-added maritime services. In the 2022 policy address, it is mentioned that the Hong Kong Maritime and Port Development Board will be reconstituted, and there will be a Maritime and Aviation Training Fund to nurture talent. The BPA supports these measures, and we hope that the government can speed up in rolling out these measures. We hope that the SAR government will, together with the industry, work hard in the following areas. First, we have to develop a chain for high value-added maritime services. This industry chain is diversified. Apart from traditional port services, there should be high value-added services, including ship management and leasing, ship financing, maritime insurance, maritime law and arbitration, and other professional services. This will help leverage our advantages. The SAR government should make good use of different cross-boundary infrastructure as well as the high connectivity between Hong Kong and the mainland and seize the opportunities. The SAR government should work with the mainland authorities to improve the high-speed rail link as well as Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge as well as the international cruise terminal. We should make good use of the high-speed rail network as well as the Belt and Road Initiative to improve the transportation system. We should also make use of the international airport in Hong Kong and divert the flow of cargo so that we can become a world-class logistics hub. We should consolidate our status as an international shipping center. In order to achieve the target of green transformation, we should speed up the development of Green Maritime Fuel Bunkering Center. In October 2024, a bill was passed in relation to the use of green fuel. In November last year, there was a promulgation of action plan on green maritime fuel bunkering. Through enactment of laws, we should promote ourselves as a green maritime fuel bunkering center. The SAR government should make good use of the package of measures. Apart from taking forward the infrastructure projects, it should give incentives for people to use green fuel. Also, there should be more collaboration with other ports in the GBA so that we can build a green shipping corridor together. I so submit. Thank you. Ms. Eunice Yong. I speak in support of the motion raised by Mr. Ambrose Lam on enhancing Hong Kong's status as an international maritime services center as well as the other amendments. With a law promulgated by the PRC, Hong Kong should actively think about how we can make good use of our advantages as well as collaborate with the mainland to promote our maritime industry. We should make use of the maritime code of the PRC. There have been improvements in relation to our law. Hong Kong is a special administrative region in our country. We should actively harmonize our rules and regulations with those in the mainland. We should come up with some form of alignment, even with the differences in rules and regulations between the two places. Also, in order to build maritime law hub, we have many foreign affairs experts and talents. We should take stock of the experiences these talents have. We also have to build a mediation and arbitration platform to give legal support to countries along the Belt and Road. This will help enhance our status. In the meantime, we should make good use of lawyers with qualifications to practice in the mainland, so that they can serve as the bridge for the maritime code of the PRC. We've got 170 member states in BIMCO, and BIMCO has listed Hong Kong as one of the 4 designated arbitration places, and we are the same as London, New York, and Singapore in this regard. This shows our leading position in maritime services. Moving forward, we have to encourage more enterprises, especially those that want to tap into the global market from the mainland. We have the advantages in terms of our language, and we can be a jurisdiction in our country that helps deal with disputes in maritime services. We should also make use of our experts and talents. We should make use of our professional network to help enterprises to go global. Also, we have to nurture more high-end talents. Talents are crucial to promoting maritime services. We have to create a conducive environment as well as policies to attract talents and elites to come to Hong Kong and ensure there are exchanges. Also, we have to deepen collaboration with the GBA. The GBA is most open and with the most vibrant economy in our country. With land, air, and sea network, Hong Kong should make use of the platform of the GBA together with Guangdong, Macau, and so on, build a comprehensive legal system. China is the biggest maritime country as well as the biggest cargo exporter in the world. As we see the development of the Belt and Road Initiative, China is participating more actively in the trade around the world. So we have to seize the opportunity to serve the needs of our country. As we consolidate our status as an international maritime center, we have to develop maritime law and arbitration to bring in capital as well as help enterprises to go global, so that we can have a comprehensive network at different levels. Thank you. Mr. Chen Xiu-hong. Thank you, Deputy President. I speak in support of Mr. Ambrose Lam's motion on enhancing Hong Kong's status as an international maritime services center as well as other amendments. In the third plenum, the resolution of deepening reform as well as promoting Chinese modernization was passed. It touches on building the maritime services industry as well as rules in relation to maritime arbitration and innovation. It clearly sets out that we have to leverage our advantages under the one country, two systems principle, and that we have to build a talent hub. The SAR government has to dovetail with our country's strategies and consolidate our status as an international shipping center. shipping can bring in great economic benefits. Over the years, our maritime industry develops vibrantly, and it is one of the busiest ports in the world. According to the 2024 International Shipping Center Development Index, Hong Kong is one of the 4 major ports in the world. Apart from the flow of capital, which reflects its economic value, ship owners as well as other people in the industry show that they are the major users of the industry in Hong Kong, and they contribute to our economy as well as the import and export industry. Given the geopolitical situation as well as technological development, we're seeing changes in terms of the development of the world, and it reshapes the industry chain. Apart from traditional port services, ship financing, maritime insurance, ship management, shipbroking, as well as maritime law and arbitration, as well as high value-added services, they are part of the industry chain now. With the advantages of one country, two systems, as well as a prime geographical location, as well as a simple tax regime, and free economy, as well as our experiences, we can develop high value-added services, including registration, auction, brokerage, and so on. We have great advantages in these regards. We can be the bridge, and we can bring in businesses and help enterprises to go global. We can offer a one-stop shop service. We can also provide brokering as well as financing services. According to statistics from 2019 to 2022, shipping contributes to the economy, and the rate has increased by 40%. We have to step up nurturing talents in maritime services, from upstream to midstream brokerage agents, as well as downstream ship operators, as well as seafarers. We have to enrich our talent pool so that we can be prepared to provide high value-added services and attract more enterprises to develop business in Hong Kong. Metals as well as minerals, they account for over half of the commodity trade in Hong Kong. We have to attract more enterprises to build the commodity trading ecosystem. Apart from developing a tax system, we also need talents. In the 2024 policy address, the CE said he will develop the Hong Kong Maritime and Port Board into the Hong Kong Maritime and Port Development Board. As a high-level advisory and consultative body, we need an independent body to formulate long-term strategies. Last year, there was a maritime port action agenda promulgated by the SAR government. The government should work closer with the industry. We should make use of the Maritime and Aviation Training Fund. We should lure more international high-end talents to come to Hong Kong. We need to make use of INT to develop smart port, smart shipping, as well as green maritime fuel bunkering. We also have to work with the western part of Guangdong and other places in the mainland to build the maritime industry so that we can create opportunities in the dual circulation development. We should reinforce Hong Kong's status as an international logistics hub to serve the needs of our country. I so submit. Thank you.
Ms. Nixie Lam. Thank you, Deputy President. I speak in support of the motion moved by Mr. Ambrose Lam. Hong Kong has a long history of maritime industry. We have an important position around the world. However, there is increasing competition around the world. We need to keep our position as an international shipping center. We need to keep our finger on the pulse of the market, and we also need to make adjustments in relation to changes in the country. China is the second largest economy around the world. In relation to maritime law and shipping services, there is a stronger demand. In relation to shipping businesses, we need to enhance our position in relation to maritime law. The third plenum adopted the resolution That is, we need to enhance our position as an international shipping financial trade center. We also need to enhance our capacity in relation to insurance underwriting. We need to encourage innovation, and this is an important direction for the industry. We have an unparalleled advantage in relation to the legal system. We have high caliber legal talents and a comprehensive and well-rounded legal system. We are an important dispute resolution center. Adjudication can also be executed in Hong Kong. As many other members have mentioned, we are recognized as one of the 4 maritime arbitration venues by BIMCO. In relation to insurance, Hong Kong is the second largest maritime insurance centers. Around 90% of the ocean-going vessels in the world are covered by the International Group of Protection and Indemnity. 12 of the 13 of these groups have offices in Hong Kong. The commodity trading ecosystem was also mentioned. We need to link it to the shipping center. So we need to leverage on the advantages of both factors. Despite concerted efforts on the part of the industry and the government, the industry is still facing succession issues in the industry. Recruiting high-quality talents is no easy task. For schools to have specialized programs or talent training, we aren't catching up with the demand in the market. From the perspective of education, the market is not large enough. It is not attractive enough. Web 3.0, lawyers, doctors, these are highly sought-after positions or careers by students and parents. So we need to enhance the appeal of maritime talents. So both parents and children alike will find that this is actually a competitive industry. It has great potential. In this connection, we need to improve the image of this industry. We need to show them the clear picture of this industry, and that's exactly how we can attract new blood to join this industry. In this connection, the government should take the lead to foster exchange and collaboration among students. Suitable training programs should also be devised in order to provide more opportunities for the industry. More publicity work is essential. How can we nurture local talents? We need to attract high-caliber talents from all over the world to come to Hong Kong. Therefore, they can inject impetus into the industry in order for us to achieve breakthroughs. Insurance, financing, these are our strengths. These are exactly what our country needs as well. So we need to leverage on this opportunity to consolidate our position as an international shipping center. Thank you, Deputy President. I speak in support of the motion and the amendments. Mr. Brave Chan, thank you, Deputy President. I support Mr. Ambrose Lam's motion on enhancing Hong Kong's status as an international maritime services center. I also thank members for their amendments. Well, I think we need to expedite the enhancement of our status as an international maritime services center. The CPG, as well as President Xi Jinping, also confirmed our 8 positions, one of which is the International Shipping Center. We want to be fast. Oftentimes, we mention that we have been expediting our work, but then we are in the phase of changes unseen in a century. We need to boost the economy. The speed is good at present, but we need to quicken the pace. That is how we can benefit the people in Hong Kong and the economy. 3 centers, 1 hub. As mentioned in the 3rd plenum, International Shipping Center is exactly one of these focus areas. We are in the face of global competition and economic transformation. The DAB has been suggesting that Hong Kong has an open market and a strategically geographical location. We cannot beat other cities in the GBA in relation to price, but then we can compete for higher quality. We can be innovative. We can achieve synergetic effect. We have 1,000 square kms. We need manpower to support our consolidation of our position. In Dongguan and Hong Kong International Airport, we build cold chain business. Within 1 hour, they can go around the Southeast Asia, and within 5 hours, they can travel around the world. This is exactly the advantage or the strength of us. We can achieve synergetic effect. So we need to have the mindset to foster concerted development or consolidated development. Dongguan is one of the examples. Upon expansion, it will reap benefits, but Hong Kong will reap even greater benefits. We build the Hong Kong-Macau-Zhuhai Bridge. Actually, we could have achieved better collaboration with Shenzhen. With Shenzhen Airport, Zhuhai Airport, Nansha Port, for example, I suggest we can build closer collaboration. We can achieve complementarity. Hong Kong has a leading position. We have internationalization advantage, so we are irreplaceable. President Xi Jinping also highlighted this fact. If we work together, we'll reap even greater benefits. Approval time might take 10 days. It was still acceptable in the past. But right now, how can we provide business facilitation measures to expedite the work? How to streamline the application process? One fewer application form will go a long way towards enhancing efficiency. 1 day faster, half day faster, is all worth our efforts. We may not be able to increase the revenues, but then we reduce companies' costs. So in this connection, we can lend more support to the industry. The Hong Kong Maritime and Port Development Board can think ahead of itself. It needs to help the industry, help the companies in Hong Kong to make enhancements together. The aim is to provide high-quality services. As a result, Hong Kong can boost economic development. Thank you. I so submit. Ms. Doreen Kong. Thank you, President. I agree with the motion moved by Mr. Ambrose Lam. I also support the amendments of other members. We are a coastal city, so for Hong Kong to be developed into an international shipping center, this is significant. A real international shipping center isn't just about cargo shipping. A key function of an international shipping center is shipping knowledge, shipping resources, and the in-depth consolidation of shipping resources. That's exactly one of the core values of an international shipping center. Singapore has a long-term planning in relation to marine economy. Singapore has a well-designed monetary policy, and it has also devised a package of maritime measures, say maritime trust scheme. All these lend support to the development of the maritime industry. In addition, digitalization has also become one of the important goals of maritime development. The outbreak of the COVID pandemic acted as a catalyst to boost the digitalization process of the maritime industry. Take London, Los Angeles as an example. They promote digitalization. They build a smart port, a smart terminal, and so on. Singapore makes full use of digitalization to build online port communities. They succeed in achieving information sharing and paperless communication processes. These provide a strong backing for decision making. Their aim is to build a smart port. London also used the port community system modeled on the one in Dubai. It sends messages instantly. It makes sure that the dissemination of information is efficient. It enhances the flexibility of the supply chain in the industry. So the collaboration is even smarter. For Los Angeles, they make use of information to enhance the predictability of goods. To build Hong Kong into an international shipping center, we have made great strides. But the international shipping industry evolves over time. We still need to redouble our efforts. Multimodal transport or sea air cargo shipment might be some major directions. We also need to embrace the digitalization age. These are the focus points that we need to leverage on. Like building a ship, we need fast ship to boost our development. We need to make sure we'll keep our leading positions. It's a test of the wisdom of the government to attach importance to the market's response. I believe this will inject prosperity to the local industry. I so submit. Thank you, President.
Ms. Lam So-wai, thank you. I speak in support of Mr. Lam's original motion to enhance Hong Kong's status as an international maritime services center. I also support all the amendments. For a number of years, Hong Kong's terminal has topped the world, but for the first time in 2023, we've fallen out of the top 10. When it comes to the reconfiguration of alliance of terminal ports, Hong Kong has been excluded. It's reported that Ocean Alliance has reduced the number of routes from 11 to 6. If Hong Kong is on the exclusion list, that means large-scale cargo vessels will not berth at Hong Kong. Only the small ones will come to Hong Kong for transshipment. There are too many choices in South China. Hong Kong will become weaker. The shrinking of the industry is attributed to a number of reasons. A number of shipping companies change to transshipment. Some switch to air cargo shipment. But for other ports in South China, they have been thriving. Apart from using a technology, there are other reasons as well. Say, for example, in one of the Nansha port, it has an area of 120 hectares. But they use automation. Only 300 people are required to run the entire terminal. Compared to Pui-leung terminal, there is a reduction of manpower by 70%, $100 million. The throughput is still huge in Hong Kong. Say, for example, a 20 feet EU in to the US. In Shenzhen, it cost only half of that of Hong Kong. In Shanghai, it's only a quarter. So in the long run, the future is dim for us. So if we rely on the market to adjust itself, then we're doomed. We can't compete with other GBA ports. We need to work with them. Guangzhou has made the achievements because of the government. Since 2017, the government provided a number of measures in terms of cash funding since 2017. So other than thinking of ways to reduce cost, it's also good to offer cash incentives. We can encourage shipping companies to expand their businesses here. London is the same. At one time, they have the biggest throughput. Before they've exhausted their natural advantage, they turn to transformation. They have kept their status as this world's center of shipping. We can mirror the practice of London. We can enhance our services, say for example, maritime insurance, finance, and legal services. The Maritime Port Development Board is to be set up. The board can put in place active initiatives to attract talents under the action plan. There can be development of innovative products as well. Renowned maritime insurers started coming to Hong Kong. It shows that we have potential. We can make sure that maritime insurance service move with the change with the times. We need to enhance our competitiveness and our attraction. Mr. So Chung-wing. We have favorable conditions to develop ourselves into a high value-added maritime service center. The latest policy address talks about building of a commodity trade ecosystem. Hong Kong needs to develop in a complementary way with other cities in the GBA. We need to provide the diversified service. We need to enhance our capability to enhance our competitiveness. I agree with Mr. Lam's original motion and the amendments by others. We need to admit the fact that the throughput of Hong Kong is dropping. Enhancing our status as an international maritime service center is something that is required under the third plenary. On a number of occasions, our country has expressed support for Hong Kong to develop into a high value-added maritime service center. We have the ability to do so as well. We have advantages in a number of areas. We're well connected with the rest of the world under one country, two systems. Our country is a major country in shipbuilding and shipping. We can build on this basis. We can focus on developing maritime insurance, legal service, financing, vessel leasing, registration, and other high value-added areas. We can integrate into the shipping industry of our country. While we strengthen ourselves, we can also increase the influence of our country. Hong Kong is an international financial center. We're also an international insurance hub. These are our inherent advantages. We need to enhance our talent training in terms of financing insurance. This will help us tap into new markets. We can also provide quality services to our country. In terms of maritime legal services, Hong Kong is one of the 4 places of arbitration destinations designated under BIMCO. We have common law jurisdiction. We have rich experience in terms of maritime arbitration. there is an increasing business among Belt and Road countries. There will be more demand for maritime arbitration. We need to train a pool of talents. We need to be on the offensive to develop new markets. It is a given that we need to develop maritime services. There is keen competition from the GBA. In a policy address, there is a proposal to develop commodity trading, including energy, metal, and agricultural byproducts. This can be the second leg. This will increase the throughput of our ports. This is also an important support for further development of our services. We need to move towards automation. At the same time, we need to strengthen our advantage in conventional areas as well. Mr. Tan Yue Hang. Thank you, President. When it comes to moving basis of manufacturing, geopolitical tensions, and other factors affecting us, well, it is inevitable that our throughput is dropping. The changes in ranking may be just temporary. We need to find new growth points. When it comes to shipping or vessel financing, legal services, financing, insurance, we have been developing for a long time. In the past few years, there is a significant increase in its contribution to our GDP. So we have very huge potential in the development towards a green port and smart port. There is a need for Hong Kong to dovetail and provide what our country needs when it comes to vessel financing, insurance, and development of smart port. We can do our part. We can also build a financial cluster so that we can have the tandem development of the three centers. We can do more when it comes to high value adding services. In the 14th five-year plan, we see support for Hong Kong to develop high value added maritime services. We dovetail into a national development. Hong Kong can develop high value added maritime services. This is a key area to enhance our competitiveness. We can make use of maritime services, which in turn will boost development in financial and business areas. We can offer tax concessions. We can develop smart ports, green ports. We can enhance publicity. We also step up talent training. This will enhance the quality of our services. We can also have policy innovation when it comes to maritime arbitration. We can attract more consignees and companies to make use of Hong Kong. This will enhance our competitiveness. Another point is to seize opportunities to turn Hong Kong into a green maritime financial center. Green transformation is the trend. it requires about $100 million US dollars. 1 trillion US dollars to be carbon neutral. So if we can move along this area, we can enhance our strategic importance. The government should also promote the development of renewable green energy, the development of a smart port, green port. We can make use of green finance to support green maritime finance. We need to put in place a system. We can also put in place development of investment and financing. We can issue green bond, blue bonds. We can help energy conservation and switch to green energy. I support the original motion and the amendments.
Mr. Tang Fei, President, I speak in support of Mr. Ambrose Lam's motions as well as other members' amendments. This motion is about developing Hong Kong as an international maritime services center. Mr. Ambrose Lam, as well as other members who raised the amendments, have spoken about the two concepts about international maritime services as well as international professional maritime services. There aren't many cargo vessels in London and they see limited container throughput. Still, they are an international professional maritime services center. While they do not monopolize the market, however, they account for 25% of the market. So we should focus on the topic about developing Hong Kong into an international professional maritime services center. For ordinary members of the public, especially parents and students, if you want them to differentiate international maritime services as well as international professional maritime services, it might not be very easy. Members have spoken about tax measures as well as training programs. However, many people aren't aware of them, including parents and students. The reasons are the following. When parents think about maritime services, they think about seafaring, while VTC's partnering organizations have done a lot of talks and activities about career planning, and I myself have taken part in these seminars and talks. I see that the industry clearly differentiates international maritime services center and international professional services center. And Hong Kong has a clear positioning in this regard as well. However, it's not easy for us to change the mindset of people in Hong Kong. There are many media reports about the negative aspects of maritime industry in Hong Kong. According to some statistics, Hong Kong is out of the top 10 container ports in Hong Kong. Shanghai and Ningbo are the top 3 ports. While these indices, they aren't about professional services. However, people in Hong Kong wonders whether they will have a career prospect if they join the industry by looking at these indices and statistics. So we have to dispel the misconception, and it requires publicity on the government's part. Some members mentioned about traditional maritime services like seafaring and container port services. However, professional services is about maritime accounting, financing, as well as ship management. So we cannot underestimate the talent required as well as the life planning required behind all these professional services. We need talent first and then education, or should we have education first so that we can have talents who can take up businesses? Otherwise, even with businesses, we won't have the right talents to take up the businesses and new orders. So should we have talent first or education first? This is a chicken and egg issue. We can draw reference from the experiences in the UK as well as the mainland. The UK used to be a strong maritime port, and now they are a strong education hub in this regard. There are many educational institutions that train up talent. In the mainland, there are universities in Shanghai and other cities that are catching up now, and they are snatching businesses from the UK. So my suggestion is to learn from the practice in the UK. We have to draw reference from the experience of China in snatching businesses. We have to make use of our University of Applied Sciences so that we can have more qualification training programs to train up talent so that we can nurture local students, and at the same time we can attract students from overseas so that we can build an international professional maritime services center as well as enrich our talent pool. And at the same time we can enhance our status as an international education hub. They complement with each other. I so submit. Thank you. President, I thank Mr. Ambrose Lam for the motion as well as other members for the amendment. The central government in 2019 promulgated the GBA Outline Development Plan. And part of the goal is to develop the GBA into International Maritime Services Center to develop ship financing, leasing, maritime law and arbitration, as well as dispute resolution services. In March 2021, there was the 14th five-year plan, and we are instructed to develop the 8 centers. Earlier, in July last year, in the 3rd plenum, there was clear instruction that Hong Kong has to leverage its advantages under the one country, two systems principle to enhance our status as an international financial, shipping, as well as trading center. The current term government has been proactively consolidating our status as an international shipping center. However, the local maritime industry has been facing great competition from neighboring places. In December 2023, the SAR government promulgated the Action Agenda on Maritime Services. This is to serve our needs and to enhance the industry's competitiveness. The action agenda sets out 4 major directions as well as 10 policies. This includes stepping up publicity and promotion. This responds to the GB8 outlines development plan's mission. In the 2024 policy address, the SAR government puts forward the idea of revamping the Hong Kong Maritime and Port Board. I hope that there can be a diverse composition of the new Maritime and Port Development Board, and that we can enhance the competitiveness and advantages of our industry. I hope the government can, in the following 3 directions, reinforce our status as an international shipping center. First, in terms of ship financing, we have relevant advantages. Currently, the top 10 ship financing banks, of which 7 have offices in Hong Kong. According to HKMA, as at June 2024, ship financing accounts for about 83 billion Hong Kong dollars, accounting for 1.2% of the total financing in Hong Kong. I think we have to make use of our advantages in terms of our infrastructure and financing channels. Especially, we have to make use of our ESG policies as well as green policies to attract more overseas enterprises to set up operation in Hong Kong to help grow the pie. Second, in relation to nurturing talent, we have already had a lot of talent scheme. For example, we have the Maritime and Aviation Training Fund to encourage more people to join the industry. I hope the SAR government can also nurture related talents and roll out sub-degree programs as well as vocational programs to improve the progression ladder and pathways for young people so that we can enrich the talent pool.
With talent training, I hope the government would promote the development of the periphery industries, for example, the professional services, ship financing, maritime insurance, maritime law and dispute resolution, and other high value-added maritime services. We always say that we can't win in terms of price competitiveness. We have to be the super connector and the super value adder for the country. I support the motion and the amendments. Mr. Tommy Chung. President, according to the